Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ESL-Easy English, the podcast that helps you navigate everyday situations with confidence. I'm your host, James.
And I'm Alison. It's great to be here with you all again.
Today, Alison, we're going to talk about something many of you will do when you travel to a new country. Taking a taxi from the airport to your hotel and then checking in. It can seem a little daunting at first, can it?
Oh, absolutely, James. Especially if you're tired after a long flight and you're in a place where you don't know anyone or the language very well. But it's a very common situation, so it's good to be prepared.
Exactly. So let's imagine you've just landed. You've gone through immigration, collected your luggage, and now you need to get to your hotel. What's the first thing you should do at the airport to find a taxi?
Well, the first thing is to look for the official taxi signs. Airports are usually very well signposted. You'll see signs that say taxis, taxi rank, or airport taxis. Follow those signs.
That's a good point, Alison. It's important to use official taxis. Why is that, do you think?
It's for your safety and to avoid being overcharged. Unofficial drivers might not be licensed, and they could charge you much more than a regular taxi. Sometimes they might even try to take you to a different hotel where they get a commission.
So always look for the official signs and the designated taxi stands. What if you can't find the signs?
If you can't find the signs, don't hesitate to ask someone for help. You can ask an airport information desk staff member or even a police officer. You can simply say, "Excuse me, where is the taxi rank?" Or, "Can you tell me where to find a taxi?"
Simple and direct. I like that. So you found the taxi rank. What happens next?
Usually there will be a queue of people waiting for taxis. You join the queue. When it's your turn, a taxi will pull up, or a dispatcher might tell you which taxi to get into.
And what should you do before you get into the taxi? Is there anything you need to confirm?
Yes, it's a good idea to confirm the destination with the driver. You can have your hotel's name and address written down clearly, perhaps on a piece of paper or on your phone. Then you can show it to the driver and say, "Could you take me to this hotel, please?"
Showing them the address is a great tip. It avoids any misunderstandings with pronunciation, especially if your pronunciation isn't perfect yet.
Exactly. And you can also ask, "How much will it cost approximately?" Most taxi drivers will give you an estimate. It's good to have a rough idea.
That's a very useful phrase. How much will it cost approximately? What if the driver gives you a price that seems too high?
If the price seems unusually high, you can politely say, "That seems a little expensive. Is that the standard rate?" Or, "Could you check the meter, please?" Most official taxis use a meter, which calculates the fare based on distance and time.
So, the meter is important. What about payment? Do most taxis accept credit cards?
It varies from country to country and even from city to city. In many major cities, credit cards are widely accepted, but it's always a good idea to have some local cash with you, just in case. You can ask the driver, "Do you accept credit cards?" before you start the journey.
Good advice. So, you're in the taxi. The driver knows where to go and you have an idea of the cost. What are some common phrases you might hear or need to use during the ride?
The driver might ask, "Where are you heading?" or "What's the destination?" You've already shown them the address, but they might ask just to confirm. You can simply say, to the Radisson Hotel, please.
And if they ask about your flight?
They might say something like, did you have a good flight? Or where are you flying in from? You can reply, yes, it was fine. Thank you. Or, I flew from Germany.
It's nice to engage in a little small talk if you feel comfortable. It can make the journey more pleasant. What if you want to make sure the driver is taking the most direct route?
That can be tricky. If you have a navigation app on your phone, like Google Maps or Apple Maps, you can follow along. If you see the driver taking a very long route, you could politely say, is this the quickest way? Or, are we going the right way?
It's important to be polite. You don't want to offend the driver.
Definitely. Most drivers are honest. If you're unsure, you can also ask, could you please use the meter? This is a good phrase to know if you suspect they might be trying to charge you a fixed higher price.
Right, so we've arrived at the hotel. The taxi journey is over. Now, what about checking in?
Okay, so you get out of the taxi and you're at the hotel. You need to go inside to the reception or front desk. You'll see a counter, and usually there are staff members there.
And what do you say when you approach the desk?
You can approach the desk and wait for a staff member to acknowledge you. When they do, you can say, hello, I have a reservation, or I'd like to check in, please.
I have a reservation, or I'd like to check in, please. Those are essential phrases. What do they usually ask for next?
They will likely ask for your name to find your booking. They might say, can I have your name, please? Or, could you spell that for me, please? It's good to have your booking confirmation, maybe on your phone or printed, just in case.
Ah, spelling your name. That's a good point. Many names can sound similar, so being prepared to spell it is wise. What if you booked through a third-party website?
If you book through a site like Booking.com or Expedia, they might ask for your booking reference number. So having that confirmation email handy is very useful. They might say, do you have a booking reference number?
So, they've found your reservation. What's the next step in the check-in process?
They will usually ask for your identification, like your passport. They might say, can I see your passport, please? They'll take your passport to verify your identity and make a copy or record the details.
And after the passport?
They will likely ask you to fill out a registration card. This is a small form where you write your name, address, and sometimes your signature. They might hand it to you and say, could you fill this out, please?
And what about payment? Do you pay for the room at check-in?
It depends on the hotel and how you booked. Sometimes you pay the full amount at check-in. Other times, you might only pay a deposit, or they might just take your credit card details to guarantee the payment. They might ask, how would you like to pay? Or, could I have a credit card for the deposit?
So, it's good to be prepared for different payment scenarios. What if you have any special requests? For example, a room on a higher floor or a quiet room.
This is the perfect time to mention it. You can say, I requested a quiet room, or could I have a room on a higher floor if possible? They might say, let me see what we have available, or I'm sorry, we're fully booked on that floor.
So, politeness is key here too. What information do they give you when you've successfully checked in?
They will give you your room key, usually a key card. They'll tell you your room number, for example. Your room number is 305. They might also give you a map of the hotel if it's very large.
Room 305. And how do you get to your room?
They will tell you how to get to your room. They might say, "The elevators are just down the hall to your left," or "Take the stairs to the third floor, and your room is at the end of the corridor." They might even offer to help you with your luggage.
That's very helpful. What if you need help with your luggage?
If you have a lot of luggage, you can ask, "Could someone help me with my bags, please?" They will usually arrange for a bellhop to assist you.
So you have your key card, you know your room number, and you know where the elevators are. What's the very last thing they might do at the reception?
They might ask, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" or "Enjoy your stay." And you can reply, "Thank you," or "Thank you, have a good day."
It sounds like a very straightforward process if you know the key phrases and what to expect. Let's recap some of the most important points for taking a taxi.
Definitely. First, always look for the official taxi signs and use the designated taxi rank. Second, have your hotel's name and address clearly written down to show the driver.
Third, don't be afraid to ask for an approximate cost and confirm if they use a meter. And fourth, have some local cash, as not all taxis accept credit cards.
And during the ride, polite phrases like, "Is this the quickest way?" or "Could you please use the meter?" can be very helpful.
Excellent recap. Now for checking in at the hotel, what are the must-know phrases?
"I have a reservation," or "I'd like to check in, please," are your opening lines. Be ready to provide your name and spell it if necessary, and have your passport and booking confirmation handy.
Also, be prepared for payment questions like, how would you like to pay? Or, could I have a credit card for the deposit? And if you have any special requests, like a quiet room, mention them at check-in.
Finally, listen carefully to your room number and directions to your room, and don't hesitate to ask for help with luggage if you need it.
That's a fantastic summary, Alison. I think our listeners will feel much more confident now about this common travel situation. It's all about being prepared with the right vocabulary and knowing what to expect.
Exactly. And remember, most people are very understanding and willing to help if you speak clearly and politely. Even if your English isn't perfect, trying to communicate is the most important thing.
That's a perfect closing thought. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today, Alison.
My pleasure, James. It was fun.
And thank you to all our listeners for tuning into ESL-Easy English. We hope this episode has been helpful. Please like and subscribe, and join us next time for more practical English for everyday life. Goodbye, everyone, and see you in the next podcast.
Goodbye, everyone.